If you have ever watched a winning trade turn into a loss because you got greedy or exited too early out of fear, Mark Douglas' 7 psychological rules will change how you trade forever. But right, so now let's take a look at Mark Douglas' 7 principles of consistency. 7 principles to make you consistently profitable. The first principle, and arguably the most important one, is that you need to know what your edge is. So before you trade, you need to know your strategy, and you need to know, what is your edge? What makes me think that I can make money in the market? Is it some kind of technical analysis setup, or maybe it's some kind of fundamental analysis? It doesn't really matter, but you need to have an edge. 2, you need to define your risk before every trade. So you will need to know, how much can I lose? You can do that by setting a stop loss. And 3, you need to fully accept the risk before entering. I talked about this earlier in the video and why it's so important. 4, you should act on your edge without hesitation. So what I mean by this is that if you know that you have a setup with, let's once again use the 75% win rate example. You know that when I see this setup in the chart, I do have a 75% chance win rate. If you know this, you need to act on every single time you see the setup. You of course need to take it without hesitation. Even if maybe you have a loss streak, maybe with this setup you have a 25% chance or 25% risk to lose. And let's say that this has happened 3 times in a row. You were super unlucky, lost 3 times in a row, even with a 75% win rate. But as long as you know your setup is correct, you still need to take these trades without hesitating. So here, this one leads into this one, and that is that I take profits as the market makes them available. 6, I monitor myself for emotional mistakes. So if you make one of these mistakes we have been talking about in this video, you need to, take one step back, and one thing you can do is to write them down, whether you have a notebook or digitally. Write down your mistakes, what happened here, what principle did I break, and so on and so on. And last but not least, stick to the rules without expectation. These rules turn discipline into a habit, and habits are what lead to consistent results. But okay, so this video was actually just a very short clip from our full course on Mark Douglas trading psychology. To watch the full video, simply click or tap on the screen right here. I hope I'll see you all over there very, very soon.